Naturalism, the belief that nature is all there is, dominates modern science, education, and even pop culture. Everything, your thoughts, emotions, choices, can be reduced to atoms and energy. No soul, no God, no miracles, no afterlife. Nature is the whole show. But today we're going to challenge that claim, and by the end, you'll see why this worldview collapses under its own weight. Naturalism claims everything came from nature, but here's the first problem: nature itself had a beginning. Astrophysicist Dr. Hugh Ross writes, "Science, of course, studies cause and effect relationships in the physical universe. Einstein demonstrated and acknowledged that the universe itself is an effect. And if the universe is an effect, there must be a cause beyond it. Time, space, matter, and the laws of physics all had a beginning, and whatever caused them must transcend them." Ross again writes, "A mountain of evidence compels the conclusion that reality must exist beyond the physical universe. Naturalism can't even get off the ground, because if nature had a beginning, its cause must lie beyond nature, beyond naturalism." Dr. Michael Behe, biochemist, uses this brilliant illustration. Imagine a room in which a body lies crushed, flat as a pancake. A dozen detectives crawl around, examining the floor with magnifying glasses for any clue to the identity of the perpetrator. In the middle of the room, next to the body, stands a large gray elephant. The detectives carefully avoid bumping into the pachyderm's legs as they crawl and never even glance at it. Over time, the detectives get frustrated with their lack of progress, but resolutely press on, looking even more closely at the floor. You see, textbooks say detectives must get their man, so they never even consider elephants. Like the detectives, many thinkers today ignore obvious clues because naturalism won't let them consider anything supernatural. It's not that God isn't the explanation, it's that he can't be by definition. But reality keeps nudging us towards something more. Consider the resurrection of Jesus. Early eyewitnesses, radical life transformations, and an empty tomb all point to something extraordinary. Naturalistic theories like hallucinations, wrong tomb, or stolen body fail to explain why so many people were utterly convinced they saw Jesus alive. As historians Gary Habermas and Michael Licona put it, the complete inability of opposing theories to account for the disciples' beliefs that they had seen the risen Jesus leaves Jesus' resurrection as the best explanation to account for our collection of historical data. In fact, it is the only plausible explanation. Naturalism refuses to even consider it, despite the fact that no other theory comes close to explaining the evidence. Miracles refute naturalism. Well documented miracles are found in works by Craig Keener and Lee Strobel. Let's look at just one example: Dwayne Miller, a modern miracle you can actually hear for yourself. Strobel writes, "Over 3 years, he was examined by 63 physicians. The diagnosis: the flu virus destroyed the nerves in his vocal cords, rendering them limp. When Miller asked about his prognosis for recovery, a doctor told him zero. Not only has Dwayne Miller recovered, but you can actually listen to the exact moment he was miraculously healed. Look it up." Consider near death experiences, where unconscious patients report details they had no natural way of knowing. According to Habermas and Lacona, some of these verified NDEs are so well documented that even skeptics admit they challenge naturalism. And here's the key: it only takes a single justified example to show that there is more to reality than a physical world. Naturalism also claims that your mind is nothing more than your brain in action, just neurons firing like sparks from a machine. But here's the problem: if your thoughts are only the result of chemical reactions, why should you trust them to be true? Chemical processes don't aim at truth, they just follow physical laws. C.S. Lewis raised this same concern decades ago. He wrote, "If my mental processes are determined wholly by the motion of atoms in my brain, I have no reason to suppose that my beliefs are true, and hence I have no reason for supposing my brain to be composed of atoms." Expecting truth from blind chemistry is like expecting a bottle of soda to give you a logical argument. It might fizz, but it won't make sense. And yet, we do reason. We make arguments, we weigh evidence, including when we evaluate naturalism itself. And here's where the fatal flaw in naturalism becomes clear. Naturalism ends up failing its own standard. Dr. Norman Geisler points out the very scientific naturalists who insist on explaining everything in terms of physical and chemical laws cannot explain their own scientific theories or laws in terms of mere physical or chemical processes. For a theory or law about physical processes is obviously not a physical process. Naturalism is like a wall, built to keep the supernatural out. But every time we examine that wall, we find cracks. These cracks reveal something bigger. Naturalism doesn't hold. Reality points to something bigger than nature. Naturalism says, don't look up, but truth says, seek and find. If naturalism can't explain the world we live in, maybe it's time to stop pretending the elephant in the room isn't there. Maybe there's more to life than atoms and energy. You made it to the end of this video. That means you enjoyed it. Share it with someone who's still missing the elephant in the room.